get in there, Nicole?
I think so. It says preparing to live stream the meeting.
Yeah, I see it.
You see it? Okay, so that worked.
It is on.
Right?
Yes.
I don't know what happened. Maybe it's your computer? No.
I think so. I'm thinking. I don't know if it's because I have over 15,000 emails.
Hold on. I hear myself twice.
I only hear you once. You might want to go up there where it says YouTube. X out one of those. Close it off. Block it off.
Okay, hold on. Okay, can you still hear me?
Yes.
Okay, because on my other screen, the YouTube popped up and I was hearing the YouTube. So it's like a few seconds behind. So I'm like, everything we're seeing, it's happening again on YouTube.
No, you need to block out one of the entries on the top, where it says streaming on the top. Mm-hmm. There's an X, put an X, click on that X.
On, what do you mean the X?
Right.
Are you still hearing it double?
No, I just turned off the volume.
I know that's how it is for some.
Okay, because you don't want that. If you turn the volume back up, it's still going to be doing double, like echo. Yeah, because you need to X out one of those streams.
Okay, but from where though? From like
up on the upper left-hand side.
Right.
You know how there's two, it says something.
It says stop live stream, view stream on YouTube, copy streaming link.
Yeah, do one of those.
Do one of those?
It doesn't matter which one. Yeah, where there's an X, click it.
It doesn't have no X's.
Yes, when you go to it, when you highlight it, there's an X. Click it.
Let's see.
See if you can make me host, and we don't drop the YouTube.
Okay, yeah. Let me see. Make host. Yes. Okay.
You forgot to admit everybody.
Where are they? Okay.
Your Honor?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, with Nicole's assistance and Oscar's assistance, we're on YouTube.
Say again, with what?
We're on YouTube.
Very good.
And then the Deputy Rodriguez is in our witness room, on his phone, on streaming.
All right. Court will come to order. Court calls case number 626117, State of Texas versus Jacob Matthew Salazar.
Judge, I'm sorry, excuse me. May I have 1 second?
Of course.
Or a few seconds?
You mean a moment? You mean a moment?
Cold.
Okay, sorry about that. I'm ready.
All right. Once again, the court calls case number 626-117, State of Texas versus Jacob M. Salazar.
That's
The docket called it Matthew Salazar. Are you Jacob Matthew Salazar?
yes, sir. Matthew's my middle name.
All right. And Mr. Briones, do you expect Mr. Salazar to testify? I don't expect you to commit to that unless you will definitely intend to do that.
No, Your Honor, we don't intend for Mr. Salazar to testify.
All right. For the record, though, Mr. Salazar,
Yes, sir.
you have identified yourself as Jacob Matthew Salazar. Are you the same Jacob Matthew Salazar that's charged with unlawfully carrying a weapon under case number 626-117?
Yes, sir.
And to that, you are pleading not guilty. Is that correct, Mr. Briones?
Yeah, yes, Your Honor.
All right. So for the record, you can consider yourself having been arraigned. Now, this is a motion to suppress. Is that correct, Mr. Briones?
Yes, Your Honor.
What do you expect? What are you wishing to suppress? What is it, the essence of your motion?
Your Honor, we're wishing to suppress the warrantless arrest of Mr. Jacob Matthew Salazar.
Anything particular? Are you saying there's no reasonable suspicion, no probable cause, or all the above?
I don't believe so, Your Honor. Based on the report, we don't believe there's probable cause or reasonable suspicion. I think maybe based on Deputy Rodriguez's testimony, we can find out a little bit more of what he experienced, but that's kind of what we're asking for, Your Honor.
All right. Can we stipulate that this this event occurred in Bexar County?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor.
Can we stipulate that it was a Bexar County Sheriff's Office deputy that was licensed as a deputy that conducted this this event or this arrest?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Briones?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. And that, okay, then that's essentially all that I need to glean from you guys by way of stipulation. Mr. Briones, and can we stipulate that there was no warrant, Mr. Edelman?
Yes, we can, Your Honor.
Very good. Mr. Briones, it's your case, your motion. You may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. At this point, I'd like to call Deputy Joseph Rodriguez to the stand.
Mr. Joseph Rodriguez, would you?
Yes, sir.
Are you, let's see here, we have you present. All right. Would you raise your right hand? You solemnly swear that in this proceeding, the information and responses you submit will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I do. Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. You may put your hand down. For the record, identify yourself, your name, your employment, and obviously you're a deputy, so give us your badge number.
I'm Deputy Joseph Rodriguez. I've been with the Bexar County Sheriff's Office for 10 years. Badge number 1417.
1417?
Yes, sir.
All right. Mr. Briones.
Mr. Briones, I'm having a little hard time hearing you. And can you make yourself any louder, please?
Yes, is this better?
I think so.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Rodriguez, I'm going to ask you a few questions. Can you state your name for the record?
Deputy Joseph Rodriguez.
And Mr. Rodriguez, where are you currently employed?
I'm currently employed with the Bexar County Sheriff's Office, 1st East Patrol.
Okay. And how long have you been with the Bexar County Sheriff's Office, 1st East?
Going on 10 years.
Okay, so were you a Bexar County Sheriff's officer on or about October 27th, 2019?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and we're here regarding an arrest. Do you remember the events that happened that day?
I actually do. Yes, sir.
Okay. Did you?
I read over the report, and I do remember the event.
Okay. And did you, I guess, as part of your training and experience, were you aware of any change in law with the Farm Bill regarding marijuana and legal hemp?
Marijuana and what?
And hemp, legal hemp? Just yes or
At
no?
that, no.
Okay. Okay. Okay, so I guess regarding October 27th, 2019, when do you remember when you were starting patrol that day?
I was on a night shift. I was on 3rd West at that time.
Okay, 3rd West, when does that usually start?
11 o'clock.
Okay.
For me, 11 o'clock. We have 2 shifts, one 11 o'clock, one 10 o'clock.
So you were dispatched, is that correct, to disturbance?
It was I believe it was a noise complaint, a disturbance noise complaint. There was a vehicle in the area playing loud music.
Do you remember what time of day or night this was?
I know it was at the beginning of the shift, not the exact time, no sir.
Okay. So did you make I guess make that dispatch? Did you go for that dispatch?
Prior to even going, I saw the listed vehicle pass a stop sign, and that's when I went to the vehicle and conducted a traffic stop with that vehicle. Not only did it pass the stop sign, it was going at a pretty good speed to where there was not even a pause, not even it wasn't a complete stop or nothing like that. It was just they just disregarded it completely.
Okay, and you saw that, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Now, at any time, did you have Coban on, or do you have Coban on your vehicle?
At the time, we didn't have any. No, sir.
Did you have any body cam on at the time?
At the time, we didn't have it. No, sir.
So at that point, you see, according to your testimony, you see them allegedly, pass the stop sign. What did you do then?
I initiated a traffic stop by, I turned around with my red and blue lights and conducted a traffic stop.
Did the vehicle stop?
The vehicle did stop.
Okay. Well, and now, did you approach the vehicle?
Yes, sir. I approached the vehicle, identified who I was, and I gave the reason for the stop. And at first, they said if I remember correctly, they said that they didn't see the stop sign. They looked like they were in a hurry, though, to get out of that area.
So at that point, what the discussion lead to?
The discussion led to, because I had already seen what appeared to be a shotgun, but it was a shotgun. I saw that it was a shotgun in the back window. Through the back window, you could actually see through the window that there was a shotgun there, and also the smell of marijuana.
Okay. So this was at 11 at night, and what kind of vehicle did you approach? Do you remember approaching the vehicle?
It was a white vehicle, making model. I'd have to look over. I've stopped so many vehicles since then, but I know it was a white vehicle. When I approached the vehicle, though, before even making contact with the individuals, you could see a shotgun in plain view in the back through the window.
Did the vehicle have tint?
That back window, no, and we were underneath the light, so it was a pretty well area to have stopped them to where I can see inside the vehicle.
So did you see? So your testimony is that you saw a shotgun in the back window. Did you see it when you were approaching it, or did you see it after you?
I saw as I was approaching it from the rear.
Okay. At that point, what did you do?
At that point, I mean, we're still in Texas and everything else. Weapons are, we see them every day, but I got their names and the individuals. I smelled an odor of marijuana inside the vehicle, and that is when I knew I had enough for a probable cause to get them out for the weapon. And I had asked for their ages as well, knowing they were under the age. They shouldn't be carrying any weapons, and also asked them if they had any other weapons in the vehicle, and they stated yes.
Okay. So at what point did you know what age they were?
When I asked for their identification.
Okay. So you asked for identification. You approached the vehicle. At that point, you asked for identification, or did you have a conversation?
I asked just for the driver, not from all of them at that right away. Just because I saw the weapon, I saw the weapon, and I had the smell of marijuana. So that's when I wanted to get him out of the vehicle.
So, so you say you saw the smell of marijuana. Are you? Do you have any certification regarding smells of marijuana?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
What kind of
We had
certification?
not a certification. It's a controlled burn that we have during our academy, and also through my experiences out on the field. But we do have a controlled burn during our academy where the smell of marijuana is introduced to us.
Okay. Did you ever have the smell of legal hemp introduced to you?
No, sir.
Okay. All right. So at that point, you approach the vehicle. You see the weapon. You're stating that there was an odor of marijuana, and then you asked at that point for the driver for a license. Is that correct? For identification?
Yeah, but they, if I remember correctly, I'm saying it's 2 years ago, but they gave me name and date of birth.
Okay. So you asked the driver, and do you remember who the driver was? Was it?
I'd have to look back at the report. I know there was more than one individual.
Okay. And then did you have a so at that point?
Did I have what?
You had a conversation with the driver. You asked him for his name and date of birth. What happened at that point?
And then I asked them if they had anything else, any other weapons inside the vehicle, because I had already saw the other one, and they said yes.
Okay. So they said yes. Did they say it like simultaneously? I mean, how did they?
No, the driver is the one that told me that he had the weapon, that there was another weapon in their vehicle.
So the driver said it. Okay. So at that point, what happened?
At that point, I began to detain them. Multiple deputies showed up, and everyone in the vehicle was detained. We ended up searching the vehicle further, and that's when we found the green leafy substance that with my training experience, I know to be marijuana, and we found another weapon as well, or more weapons.
Okay, so going back to where you're stating, at that point we detained them. So you detained 2 individuals at that point?
I detained the driver, and then when another officer got there, I was already in the process of detaining the second one, and then I secured. I can't tell you which individual I secured in my vehicle, but we detained them in multiple vehicles.
I pass the witness, Your Honor.
Deputy Rodriguez, have you
Yes.
had any experience with distinguishing marijuana from hemp?
No, not. I mean, I know, like I said, we do have a controlled burn in our academy where the smell of marijuana is introduced to us by our narcotics team. They went to our academy. They had a controlled burn there to where we're able to smell marijuana. And then, like I said, also my experiences out on the field.
Now, according to your report, after you stopped the vehicle, let's back up for a minute. After you noticed the vehicle disregard the posted stop sign at Rousseau, you initiated a traffic stop. How did you initiate that traffic stop?
I initiated the traffic stop by, I was supposed to turn on the street that they were going on. I turned on my red and blue lights. So that way there was no other vehicles coming. I turned on my red and blue lights, turned around, I got behind them, continue with my red and blue lights on, and the vehicle pulled over to the side. I got off my vehicle. As I'm approaching the vehicle, so when I see the vehicle, and I introduce myself as a deputy with the Bexar County Sheriff's Office.
And then according to your reports, as you approached the vehicle, or when you approached the vehicle, you smelled a strong odor of marijuana, along with observing a weapon in plain view. Where in the vehicle did you see that weapon, and what kind of weapon was it?
I saw the weapon in the back. It was what I know to be a shotgun. You can see it in the back window through the back. The way the vehicle was sitting, it had like a lot of it was like miscellaneous objects, possibly some clothes, and the shotgun was on top of that. Through the back windows where I saw it, in short.
And then you asked the driver if there were more weapons in the vehicle, and the driver responded yes.
Yes.
Now, at this point, had you asked either the driver or the passenger to identify themselves?
Yes.
And did they identify themselves?
Yes.
Now, what did you do next?
Knowing that I had enough to detain individuals with the threat of not only, or not the threat, but the smellable marijuana, and then the threat of there would be more weapons inside the vehicle for my safety and their safety. That is when I began to detain the individuals.
And please describe how you detained them.
I detained them by telling them to take out get out of the vehicle, and I informed them why they were going to be detained, and I placed them in handcuffs.
All right, did you order them to go or sit anywhere?
That's when we ended up putting them at first. I kept them outside the vehicle until other officers arrived. That's when we put them in individual vehicles.
And after detaining these two gentlemen, what did you do?
After detaining the individuals, we conducted a further search for the weapons, and that's when I found the marijuana as well.
And how did you know that it was marijuana rather than hemp?
With my training experience and what I've seen and what I've also come encounter with in the past.
Do you know the difference between marijuana and hemp? Just out of curiosity.
I mean, I've seen the pictures of the hemp more than anything. I cannot tell you whether the smell or not, but the marijuana, like I said, it's something that's been passed through my career that I have seen, and I do know it to be marijuana. I did know it to be marijuana. Or, yeah, so with my training. So.
Pass the witness.
If I may, Your Honor.
You're a witness.
So, Mr. Rodriguez, on the report, it says that you detained both the driver and the passenger. Is that correct, or is there a mistake in the report? Or
yeah, the detained, yes, but as far as put them in the vehicles, the other officers showed up and they put them in their vehicle.
Okay. So, and it says that in the report, the driver is identified as Richard Ovalle. Does that sound familiar at all?
No, like I said, I've got to look at the report one more time. I briefly looked over it in the parking lot as I was rushing over here.
Okay. Now it says that you then found, I guess the I'm going to paraphrase, the semi-automatic shotgun in the back of the vehicle. It says that you found it after you detained it. At least the report's written that way. Is that correct, or are you?
No, that's correct.
So that is correct.
Yeah, I retrieved it. Yes, it was. I saw it prior to. In the report, it does also say that I did see it prior to me searching the vehicle before detaining them. But then, when I further searched the vehicle, is when I was able to retrieve it.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, pass the witness, Your Honor.
A few more questions, if I may, Your Honor.
Yes, sir.
Where in the vehicle did you find the green leafy substance that you believe to be marijuana?
I'd had to look at the report. I believe it was in the door, a little compartment there, if I'm not mistaken, because I know one of the other weapons we found underneath the seat. So if I'm not mistaken.
Can you specify which door?
If can I refer back to my report, or
with the permission of the court?
Is that an option?
I don't hear any objection. Yes, sir, you may refer to your report.
Okay, I'm just gonna.
Basically, you're telling me that you need to refresh your memory. Is that correct?
Yes, sir, that is correct. The incident happened about 2 years ago. I'm just gonna briefly look over it. Okay, that's the passenger door.
Beg your pardon?
The passenger door, sir.
And was that in reach of the passenger?
Oh, yeah, most definitely. It's right there in the door.
And you also found a weapon located near the passenger?
Yes, I found the weapon underneath the seat.
Now, did you find any documentation relating to the transportation or shipping for hemp in the vehicle?
No, sir.
Did either the driver or the passenger provide you any documentation for the proper legal shipping of hemp?
No, sir.
Pass the witness.
So, Mr. Rodriguez, your testimony is that you found the briefing leafy substance after you made the arrest, correct?
Yes, sir.
And you found all the pistols and the guns after you made the arrest, correct?
Yes, sir.
Pass the witness, Your Honor.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
But I have no
To be honest,
I have no other witnesses, Your Honor.
Mr. Edelman, any witnesses?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Can the witness be excused?
Mr. Briones?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Edelman?
Yes, he may.
All right. Mr. Rodriguez, Deputy Rodriguez, thank you for your time and your courtesies. You're excused at this time.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
You're welcome. Mr. Briones, it's your motion.
Yes, Your Honor. Would you like to hear some argument and close?
Yeah, I'd be curious to hear what you're going to say, what Mr. Edelman will say.
Thank you, Your Honor, if I may. I think you heard the testimony. You know, my client is the passenger. He was Jacob Salazar. I don't think this deputy had, he didn't testify that he spoke 2 words to Jacob before he arrested him. He initiated the traffic stop. He approached the vehicle, said he smelled some marijuana, said he, saw a shotgun, and then arrested them both. He spoke to the driver. I think that was his testimony. And he did get names and ages. So I don't think there's probable cause or reasonable suspicion to arrest my client, the passenger. Of course, it was only after my client was arrested that he then did an inventory search and kind of found all this other stuff. So, Your Honor, we're asking to essentially suppress the arrest, as he couldn't articulate a good reason, and he didn't articulate a reason as to why my passenger was arrested. Thank you, Your Honor.
Mr. Edelman.
Well, the question, Your Honor, is whether at each stage of the investigation, Deputy Rodriguez had the legal authority to take each step that he did. So the first step is whether he had the legal authority to detain the vehicle in the first place. And since there has been no testimony or evidence presented to the contrary that Mr. Ovalle ran the stop sign, and since there doesn't seem to be any issue as to the credibility or the veracity of the witness, it would seem clear that Deputy Rodriguez did have the authority to detain the vehicle, and by doing so, he detained its passenger, which gave Mr. Salazar standing to dispute the legality of the further actions of the deputy. So the next question is, did Deputy Rodriguez have the authority to search the vehicle after the detention? Now, it is well settled that the smell of marijuana coupled with the motor vehicle exception to the warrant requirement has been enough to give law enforcement officers of this state the authority to search a vehicle. Now, that probable cause is complicated by the fact that we at this stage do not know whether the substance that was actually detected by Deputy Rodriguez was marijuana or hemp. However, from my perspective, the distinction is one without a difference, because even if one entertains the idea that what Mr. Salazar and Mr. Ovalle were transporting in the vehicle was hemp, that simply created another avenue for the development of probable cause, which is if Mr. Salazar and Mr. Ovalle were transporting hemp, they then had a legal responsibility under Agriculture Code 122.356 to provide documentation certifying certain aspects of their hemp transportation. A shipping certificate or cargo manifest issued under section 122.055 if the hemp originated in the state, or documentation containing the name and address of the place where the hemp was cultivated, et cetera, et cetera. There's no evidence that either Mr. Salazar or Mr. Ovalle did produce such documentation. Therefore, even if what they possessed was legal hemp, they were still committing a criminal offense under Agriculture Code 122.360, which then gave the officer probable cause to arrest. And as part of that probable cause to arrest, he then had additional probable cause to search incident to the arrest, which gave him the authority to discover the weapon. And since he testified that both the suspected contraband and the weapon were found within the physical reach of the defendant, it is up to a jury to decide whether those are sufficient links to decide that the defendant has committed the offense of unlawful carrying a weapon. So as far as the state can tell, at each stage of this investigation, detention, investigation, arrest, Deputy Rodriguez had the legal authority to do everything that he did. And so on that basis, we believe that the motion should be denied.
Mr. Briones, anything else?
Yes, Your Honor. I mean, we're just going to reiterate, he didn't have any articulable reason as to why he's arresting passenger. Anything past that, you know, that's not the purview of the court right now. We're trying to essentially suppress this arrest. He went to the vehicle. He said he smelled some marijuana. He saw something. He spoke to the driver. At that point, he arrested driver and passenger. Gave no reason as to why passenger. He thought passenger was breaking the law.
Under the state of the record and the testimony, I'm going to suppress the arrest as to the defendant only. It's pretty, was this charged as a joint possession? But no pun intended.
Your Honor, I believe he was charged with unlawful carrying of weapon as well as a possession of marijuana.
That is incorrect, Your Honor.
So,
Knowingly, recklessly carry on or about his person a handgun, and the defendant was not on his own premises or premises under his control, and the defendant was not inside of or directly en route to a motor vehicle that was owned by the defendant or under his control.
Okay. All right. I'm granting the motion to suppress is to this individual based on the complaint as read.
thank you, Your Honor. Should I send you an order, or does the court provide their own orders, or what's the easiest thing for you, Your Honor?
I would suggest that you send me an order.
Thank you.
All right.
I will send it to the court, Your Honor. Is there anything further? May we be excused?
Yes, sir.